Hello again, everybody. I just tried to to do a rundown on the final exam, excuse me, of the areas that we're going to cover, and I lost the video. I've had that problem all semester with the video cutting off suddenly. So I'm going to try to do this in a very economical way, and so bear with me as I go through. What I'm going to do is go through some of the main topics for the chapters. On the final exam, we're going to just cover the 4 case studies. The last chapter, hopefully you read that this week, but I'm not going to test you on that last chapter, just the 4 case studies, the timelines that we've been dealing with over the last several weeks. So anyway, the African American case. One, the Brown versus the Board of Education of Topeka, know about it. Secondly, Plessy versus Ferguson, 1896. 3, how did Jim Crow system end? 4, where did the civil rights movement begin? 5, who was Rosa Parks? 6, what was the central strategy of the civil rights movement? 7, the goals of the civil rights movement. What were the goals of the civil rights movement? 8, why was the civil rights movement successful? What were some of the strategies that brought about the success of the civil rights movement? 9, what was the mission of the Brown versus Board of Education of Topeka? What was the mission? 10, who were the main leaders of the Black Power movement? And then the next chapter on Native Americans. What were the conditions for Native Americans in the 20th century? Secondly, present conditions of Native Americans. What are the present conditions for Native Americans? And how does it reflect their past historical experiences? 3, how did the values of Native Americans differ from Western culture? 4, what was the status of women in the Native American tribes? What roles did they play? Okay. 5th, where are most of the Native American reservations located? On what kind of lands, for example, types of environment? 6, what was the Bureau of Indian Affairs? What was their role? 7, in what ways can Native American culture, in what ways was Native American culture attacked by Westerners? And then 8, know the essential aspects of the Dawes Act, the Indian Relocation Act. And then the third chapter, Hispanic Americans. 1, what are the largest groups of Hispanic Americans? What are the 3 largest groups? What is the population statistics for Hispanics in comparison to other groups? 3rd, what are the racial and ethnic makeup of Hispanic Americans? 4thly, what are some of the problems with the term Hispanic? 5th, what other racial minorities can we compare Hispanics to in terms of a historical experience? And then 6, federal policy toward Hispanics. Know the various federal policies in the timeline toward Hispanic Americans. And then lastly, what were the Cuban enclaves? And then the last chapter, Asian Americans. Who opposed the Chinese immigrating to the United States? Who opposed this immigration? Secondly, why did the Chinese establish small businesses? 3rd, what was the statistics of Japanese Americans what was the status of Japanese Americans by 1960? 4th, know about we talked about the relocation camp history of Japanese Americans during World War II. 5th, what has contributed to the high status of Japanese Americans? Okay, let's see what else. Okay, so that's all we have. These are the areas, some of the areas that the exam will come from. So if you've read those 3 chapters, go back through, look over the overviews, and go over these areas I just covered. There may be, and certainly there will be, more than one question over these areas. So they, make sure that once I give you, you look at one of these areas, look all in that area. Look at what the chapter has to say in relation to that topic that I just gave you. So again, some of these may have one question, some may have several questions. But it's a very good review. It came right off the exam. So and you got plenty of time now. So go ahead and study up and have a great Turkey Day. And I'll talk to you later. Send me an email if you got any questions. And finish up your papers. Talk to you soon.